Earlier this year, I was invited to a special Final Fantasy XVI event in London where I got to meet some of the dev team and got a chunky hands-on with the game. And oh boy, is good. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the game footage provided by Square Enix and tell you about my time playing the game. So the event started off with an introduction from Yoshi P and Michael Christopher Koji Fox. Didn't expect them to be there in person, and I was immediately like a little kid seeing stars. Like, I should have went over to speak to them, but I didn't, because I didn't want to bother them. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, they opened up the event, they let us know what to expect, and basically just turned around and went, yo, go ham. And go ham we did. They let us loose with the game. We had 3 sections of the game available to us. The opening hours of the game, intro to the hideaway and a mission after it, and then a special combat demo. I'll tell you now, few of us that I was there with and we were talking to, we got up to the hideaway part of the game and then just went, yeah, nah, we're just gonna leave it here because we wanna play the rest of this, and we know you're gonna stop us soon. And it's like, we were just absolutely loving it. And we expected it to end a lot earlier than it did, but it just kept going and going and giving us more to play if we wanted to. But we actually, like, we did stop genuinely. But like, nah, we kind of, if we keep going, we're not going to stop. We're not going to want to stop. But anyway, so where to begin? The game is gorgeous. Square Enix have always made majestic looking games. Like, the entire Final Fantasy series just looks fantastic. And Final Fantasy XVI is no exception. The world, character, and effects are all beautiful to watch. The locations are stunning, especially if you like big castles like I do, but also the different fields and the different areas, and even the battlefields have details to them. Some are quite subtle, others not so much. Hi, Titan. Alongside the graphics, of course, there is the soundtrack and the sound effects as well. A really cool accessibility feature that unfortunately I can't show you is that they do have kind of like waveforms that go around the screen, showing you just what the level of audio is for speaking, sound effects, and the music. It was really, really cool. But yeah, the soundtrack, you're in a big epic moment, soundtrack is right there with us. And during battles, it is making us feel cool. We've got different themes for standard battles, boss battles, story battles, just wandering the different areas in the world. And it all changes with each area that we explore as well. So there is plenty of variety. And while we're in the hideaway, we can listen to what our favorites are thanks to the orchestrion. So we're going to have to unlock our soundtracks, which is going to be pretty fun. And then there is the most important part, in my opinion, the gameplay. If you've played any action RPG before, like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, even Final Fantasy XV or Final Fantasy VII Remake, then you are going to feel at home with this game. There are a lot of mechanics to play with. Out of combat, we roam the world and we can head right into this main story, or we can just go and explore the areas that we're in, find items that are lying around, and talk to the folks that are inhabiting each area to give us a little bit more info about it and more about the folks living in it. We'll always have a main story quest available, but there's also some side quests to pick up, both from the hideaway in other areas, and also just while you're roaming out in the world. Although I didn't actually pick up many because I was kind of too focused on the story, so I can't actually tell you any more about them. Sorry. The world is split up into different areas via the world map. There's no open world that I'm actually aware of. We always select where it is we want to go via the world map, and it'll load us into that area. Now, it makes sense that areas are connected, but it's like there's no direct connection from, you cannot go to the front gate of a castle and then end up in the field next door. There is the world map for that. But finally, and the part that most people are going to want to talk about, is the combat. And, oh, combat is fun. It's fluid, it's very, very satisfying, especially when you nail a combo that you've been thinking about and going, does that work? Yes, that works. Let's do it again. Here's a quick explanation about the combat, because it's better to show and tell, and I've got a daft idea running in my head. So we have a basic attack and a basic magical attack that are always available to us. Spells are determined by which icon we currently have equipped. So for example, fire is if you've got Phoenix, and arrow is if you've got Garuda. Each icon also has 2 ability slots. There are more than 2 abilities that you can learn, but we can only equip 2, so have to find your favorites. They also have their own unique ability. For example, Phoenix Shift allows us to close the gap with a fire rate attack, and then that switches if you change up to Garuda. As we level up, we also learn skills like lunge and down thrust, as well as the skill to charge our attacks. For example, your fire attack becomes the next tier, so fire becomes Fyra, and physical attacks can be imbued with an element, so your normal attack can become like a charged flame attack. There's also defensive options, of course, like your dodging and your guarding and your parrying. You need them to stay alive and get back in the fray. You unlock them at different points, like you get air dodge, you get ground dodge, you get your parries, you get big counters. However, if you're not able to use them or you're not too terribly good at action games like that, then don't worry, because there are auto dodge and auto parry items that can be equipped if you want to. And as far as I was able to see, there's no penalties, which is really nice. Like, you want to use them? Go ahead. Why not? Accessibility is a good thing. Items are also usable in combat via the D-pad. Now, you've got to set them in advance before you become in a fight, but it's always good having a potion or an antidote on hand, especially if you're going to need them. You can also only hold a small amount of them, and given that we ran into a smorgasbord of them, they're meant to be used, so use them. I'm still going to hoard my elixirs, guarantee you. And of course, Best Boy is fighting alongside us. Our faithful hound, Torgal, can be commanded with the D-pad to do a number of attacks, and even combo into our attacks. He's a very good part of our kit. Yes, he is. So the goal in combat is, of course, just to get our enemy's health bar to 0 and keep ours above 0. But there's also one more feature. Some enemies will also have a yellow bar called the stagger gauge. Once we empty this, the enemy will be staggered and will take additional damage from our attacks for a short window, so that's when we want to do our big attacks. The enemy will also be stunned and unable to move away. And with that brief explanation out of the way, it was brief, right? I mean, I think it was brief. I'm not sure if it was brief. It is time for the daft idea. In the left corner, we have Clive and Torgal, and in the right corner, we have a bighorn. Who will come out on top? Alright, we're going to open this fight here with a bunch of fire on this. We're going to Phoenix shift our way to close the gap immediately, get a few attacks before going into the Rising Flames ability. Going to keep that going with a lunge and a couple of magic bursts before moving out of the way from the enemy's stomp. We then fire our big heat wave out, and then the enemy is going to come and charge us. Slight little dodge to the side here. We're going to get a couple more fires out, use the Phoenix shift to close the gap, and switch into Garuda to give us a nice air combo here. The Deadly Leap Chain allowing us to get some nice aerial burst. The Precision Stick allowing us to go into the Deadly Takedown to get the enemy a little bit of a stagger on the halfway gauge there, allowing us to get the leap into the aerial combo, finishing with the down thrust. We're then going to continue dodging out of the way here, doing a couple of bits of aero before closing in the gap there with our lunge, magic burst into the Wicked Wheel, and an air dodge out of the way. Switching back into Phoenix here, giving us the Rising Flames to get the stagger down. Torgal coming in with a few attacks of his own before switching back to Garuda and using the Gouge. This is a multi-head attack, giving us a chunky combo and quick damage very nicely there. Finishing the stagger with the Heat Wave ability in Phoenix, and then a couple of fire spams as the enemy gets back up. Going to do the precision dodge here, fire another couple of fireballs up the butt, and then we're going to shift strike our way in, continuing our combo before switching to Garuda, and then doing our aerial combo once again. Boss is going to turn around here, so we are going to make sure we are out of the way of those attacks. They're using the precision dodge, couple of lunges, magic burst into the Wicked Wheel for the iconic strike. Going to land, then get ourselves the magic burst takedown once again, switching immediately into Phoenix shifting in, a couple of attacks into our Rising Flames, and once again keeping the damage going. We're going to move out of the way here on this one, having a charged Fyra there coming out because we knew we had to dodge, continuing the pressure on the air combo here, using the air combo to dodge the attack from the Bighorn. We now have Bucking Bull coming through. We're going to wait and be very careful as the Bucking Bull will jump and charge at us. We get our dodge out, and then we go into our air combo magic burst once again. Going to jump up here, getting the takedown, which is nice, immediately switching into the Phoenix, and then going to go into Gouge once again. You can see the Gouge there just building up the chain very, very quickly. 30 attacks on Gouge, straight into the Wicked Wheel, into the air combo as we land, and that is a nice stagger combo there. Going back into Phoenix, immediately use Rising Flames. It doesn't quite get caught in the stagger damage, but does do some damage to our stagger gauge. We then take damage as we're running our way through here to the fight, getting a little bit of an air dodge there, thanks to doing the combo with Garuda, before switching back into Phoenix and Phoenix shifting to close the gap. We get the iconic strike from the heat wave. Our rising flames is ready to go again, but we're going to just dodge our way out there. Switch to Garuda, be in the air with our aerial burst. Gets our deadly takedown. So we're going to continue and finish our air combo there before using our Wicked Wheel into our Gouge in midair. But because the enemy is not staggered, it can move out of the way. Allows us to switch into Phoenix, getting our stagger down there and finishing the fight with the Rising Flames. And that's that. I got to spend 3 hours with a hand-on experience with the game, and I loved every second of it. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of the game when it launches on the 22nd of June. It's forever away. I've got my special edition Origo the Collector's Edition. I had that the moment it was available last year, and just a big shout out to Ibs at Square Enix for inviting me to the event. Like, it was wonderful. It was amazing. I wish I could have stayed longer. I have learned a lot. I promise, if I ever get anything like this again, I will stay a little bit longer and not try and squeeze it in one day. But yeah, if you have any questions about the game, then ask in the comments below and I'll answer with what I know. It can be about the story, it can be about the music, it can be about the game's combat, anything. Ask a question. If I can answer it, I will try and answer it. Also, hit that subscribe button because, you know, that's what we've got to do. At this point, it's a mix of everything. I really don't know what I'm doing with this channel, but it's mainly speed running content. I should speed... No, I'm not going to say it because if I finish that sentence, we know it will never happen. And with that, I will leave you with the most important piece of info.
Good boy.
We can pet Torgal!